Okay, we are live. Let's see. One thing I've learned is to wait for all of you to get on here to let me know that audio and everything is working. So, how are you tonight? I know I haven't been doing this in a while, and we're going to get back to it. So let me share this out on social a few places, and then we'll say hello, and we'll have a chat about homelessness. So let's see if we can get some of my homeless friends to join us tonight. It's always excellent fun. And I mean, excellent that they join us, really sucky that they're homeless. So let's see. I think I have got everything set correctly. Uh-oh, where'd the chat room? Oh, there's a bunch of you here already. Hey everybody, how are you? Oh my gosh, let's see, let me get the chat room in, so, and you guys can all, let's see, who do we have here? So let's see, I love the new video, very cool. Rich, don't know which video you're talking about, but thank you. Hi Tara. Addie is here. Addie is moderating. Jesse, thank you very much. Yes, Raphael, I am the voice. You know what? Speaking of voice, I don't have the microphone right. So the thing about live video is it is definitely not perfect. Hated New York City. So glad I found this channel. I am glad you found it too. Why do you hate New York City? Let's see. So, yes, Lisa. Lisa just said, glad you were back live. So I was doing this quite regularly every Sunday night, and then the holidays hit. Did some traveling up to Seattle. Tried to do a live stream from a tent city. That didn't go so great. And then a bunch of stuff happened, and I did one 2 weeks ago that I didn't post live, just had a little chat with all of you. It was marvelous, but I was streaming from my mom's house, and I just didn't think it was the best thing to post. So here I'm back. And I'm going to try to get to Sunday nights, but I know I've been saying this. Sunday nights are a little hard for me because I spend the weekends either traveling or with my mom, and by the time I get here, I'm usually exhausted. So it might switch to another day and time, and then we'll stick to it. And Jesse is from Thunder Bay, Ontario. I love Thunder Bay. By the way, something about Canada. I mean, just pronouncing the names. I mean, you have Saskatoon. How can you not love saying Saskatoon or Thunder Bay? I live in Thunder Bay. Canada just has the greatest names. And then Belleville, Washington, Topeka. Hey, everybody. So, Captain April, your wife, are you guys still homeless? Zanesville, Ohio, getting bad on homeless. Every place is getting bad on homelessness, and we're going to talk about that for a little bit. Heather, hello. Yeah, these are just, chats. I'm going to try to integrate guests. We had Addie, we had Manda, we had Kevin from Healthcare for the Homeless. And Northern Maine. Dee is from Northern Maine, and Lisa is from Reading, Michigan. So, we'll get into questions later on. I wanted to talk about a few things, but it asked, how do you get homeless people to trust you? It's not just homeless people, it's everybody. How you get people to trust you is being trustworthy. So you treat everybody with respect, keep your word, and do your best to keep your promises, and people will trust you. Raphael asks if I've ever been homeless myself. I have. That's how this all started. We can talk about myself some other time. So let's see. How many of you are in here? And we'll start. Wow, 94. That's a record. 94 people. Hi. You're living in a van in Denver. So we have an online support group. It's just for homeless people. So if you are not homeless, please don't click on the link. But if you go to wearevisible.com, it'll take you to a Facebook group for homeless people. And it's just a private group for homeless and formerly homeless people. And love to have you join us. So it's wearevisible.com, again, just for homeless people, or if you were homeless. So if you're not currently homeless, or you've never experienced homelessness, please, this is, you know, I'm not big on exclusivity, but this is a place where homeless people can feel safe talking about homelessness. So that's why it's just for homeless people. So, hi everybody. So, a couple of quick announcements. Wow, you overheard somebody mention invisible people during the Women's March. Hopefully they were saying something good. So, first, a couple of announcements. And Addie might kill me for this. So, Addie is the moderator. And Addie is no longer homeless. When she started moderating this channel, she lived in her car and she had a job, or still probably has a job, but she found a place to live, so she is no longer homeless. And that is awesome. I don't think I did a proper announcement when a couple of weeks back, but and she's yelling. Anyways, that is, you'll see her. She's in the chat room. She's the moderator. Please say congratulations to Addie, because she is amazing, and she is a big reason that we're here tonight, because every week she reminds me, are we doing it? Are we doing it? So I was a little tired tonight, but I just didn't want to tell Addie no. And I miss all you guys. I really do. This has been really amazing that we've been having these chats. So I promise I'm going to get back to it. The other announcement is, and many of you have been probably following, is Manda found a place to live. So she's still under the bridge, and if you go into the description, you will see a link to Addie's Twitter so that you can congratulate her properly, and a link to the vlog where Manda showed us where she lived. Now, both Addie and Manda were the first people I interviewed on this live stream. And now Addie has a place to live, and this week, crossing fingers, knock on wood, Manda will be in housing. So that is pretty amazing, if you ask me. So Raymond says, let's see, I gotta scroll up. Raymond, again, you know what, Addie, if you could, I don't know all the features, but yeah. So Raymond, we have a support group just for homeless people. It's just for homeless people, everybody. On Facebook, you can find it by going to wearevisible.com. Love to have you join us. I have a couple of topics, and as you can see, you know, the chat is in the video, so you guys are part of this. But I actually have a couple of topics that I wanted to talk about as we go into this. And let's see. Yeah, I know. I mean, both. Oh my gosh. Carissa was evicted. I'll ask to join fight to making it. I mean, that's the big thing. I was one of the stories. You know what? Let's get into it. We're going to go right into the stories. I'm going to feature 3 stories. The links are in if you'd like to read either now or some other time. The links are in the description. And this one, families flooding LA's homeless system 5 times the rate of last year. Now, it's a radio story, but the text is there. Listen to it if you like. To me, this is alarming for many, many reasons. And why it is so alarming to me is, I'll give you a little background. So, and I supported this. Years ago, the homeless services industry, and it is an industry, decided to focus on chronic homeless people. Briefly, a chronic homeless person is somebody that's had an extended period of homelessness. Many of them are very, very vulnerable. Vulnerable meaning closest to death. They also utilize the majority of services. And when I first learned about this, I'll be a little candid, I had trouble with it. I had serious trouble with it because I was facing my own homelessness. And I was in a meeting at Santa Monica, and they're talking about focusing on the most vulnerable. And, you know, I knew I was getting laid off in a month, and in my head I'm going, what about me? I'm going to be homeless. What about me? What about me? And then they passed around a photo book that the police, the fire department, and the emergency room all kept of the most vulnerable homeless people, the 100 worst of the worst in Santa Monica. And I could only look at a few pages. It was heartbreaking. I mean, these are people that were just so close to death. And I got it. If I had ended up homeless at that time, I knew I was healthy enough to survive for a while. These people are closest to death. And the theory of it is that by housing the people that are the most vulnerable, that those are the people that utilize majority of services. By housing them, you're going to free up services, you're going to save money to help homelessness as a whole. Because sadly, there's just this much money. I mean, there's a lot of money going into homelessness, but it's not enough. So they started prioritizing. And I supported it. Hey, James. James is somebody who is also part of our support group who was homeless. He's now in housing. And so anyways, homelessness, chronic homelessness, that's what they targeted for years and years. And I supported that. What's happening now is we're seeing huge increase in all homelessness, but a serious increase in family homelessness, seniors, and youth. So simply put, in real easy language, we got really good at closing the back door, but the front door we left open. So we're starting to see that The other issue is that family homelessness, our government, HUD, Housing and Urban Development, they actually don't believe, or it's not that they don't believe, they don't classify, or they don't recognize a whole group of families as homeless. So if you're couch surfing, if you're doubling up, if you're in a hotel and it was paid for by a church or your friends, or you had some savings, you lost your job, you're living in a hotel, government says you're not homeless. That's crazy. So really why this is on my mind is there's a couple of homeless families that are in our support group that live in their cars that I've tried to help this last couple of weeks. Tonight there was a woman or a family living in a car with a couple small boys, and they needed a hotel room. We were able to get them a hotel room for the night, but it was an emergency because of a hospital thing. Anyways, last week I reached out to service providers in the city where they lived, and I have a lot of connections, and this is an organization, the organization I reached out to is an organization that I totally love and adore, and they changed. Why did they change? Because the government, all the money now is in chronic homelessness. So this family, the government doesn't even classify them as homelessness. I'm going to get passionate here. I'm sorry. But there was no way I could find them support. There was nothing. There was nothing. And this is a major city. So here is a homeless family with 3 boys, young boys living in a car, and there was nothing. No support whatsoever for them. And, you know, that has to be an alarm. That has to be an alarm that homeless services needs to pay attention to. Now I get it. There's only a certain bit of money, so they prioritize. That's their excuse. But you know what? I don't have any money. I'm unemployed. I don't have an income right now. Honest to God, I am unemployed. I don't have an income right now, and I'm giving my all to help homeless people. So don't give me the money excuse. We need to house these people, whether they're families, whether they're single adults, whether they're single mothers, single fathers, youth, seniors. We need to house these people. Rant over for now. I got another one coming. So what do you guys all think about that? I'll go to the chat room and see what you guys are all talking about. I see you're talking with Addie a little bit about cell phones and stuff, which is really huge. Lisa says, amen. You know what, Jerry, in a bit, Jerry says food and clothes are easy in the USA. We're going to talk about that in a bit, actually. Yes, housing first is great if there's enough housing. Jeff wants to know how can we help rehabilitate people from homeless better? Great question, and really it's housing. Mark asks about suicide. You know, I don't know if there's a lot of data on that, and there should be. I know in our support group, sometimes people share they can't make it anymore. And guys, if you are not aware, there's a great organization called Crisis Text Line where you can text back and forth. D stayed in shelters. So you guys let me know if you know, Jacqueline, if my most recent story on the site is a gentleman who was kicked out from a nursing home. Yep. You know what? Bitcoin isn't the answer. You know that. So there's a lot of vacant housing, but you know, not a lot of housing, you know, right off for people. So, hey, how are you, Top Hat? I appreciate you. So I'm going to leave it up to you guys. You want me to go on to the next story, or do you guys want to just chat back and forth? I have a feeling you guys just want to chat. Although you know what? You've got to go, brother. So I will tolerate. No, I don't think tolerate's the best word. I encourage open conversation, and when we're talking about homelessness and poverty, often emotions go crazy. But racism, personal attacks will not be tolerated. Hey, no, Addie, that's, you know, gosh. As this thing's going, we're probably going to have to add more moderators. I agree. Don't waste the time with the trolls. Just block them. Get them out. I just want to say how awesome you all are. We have 1 or 2 trolls every live stream, but we don't get a lot of trolls. That's really amazing. So oh, you know what? Oh my gosh, I forgot. No, I forgot to switch the button, so you guys were looking at that all that time. I am so sorry. Well, at least some of the stupid comments won't be on the video. There's always a good side to stuff. Hey Joshua, we were talking about this earlier. We have an online support group for homeless people. Just for homeless people. Anybody else, you can find it at wearevisible.com. I have to tell you that really one of the things that really opened my eyes when I started live streaming was how many of you are actually homeless turning on to this live stream. So, and you're a veteran. Joshua, do you mind telling me what city you live in? You don't have to be specific of what area. Just a general city. Thanks, Jeff. So Ed talks about microhouses, and there's a link below to Amanda telling her story, and I feature 2 cottage communities. It's really it's really tiny homes alone is not going to end homelessness. You need support services, you need community. Scuba Steve, wow, Scuba, thank you very much. I don't ask people. If you want to donate, great. So I was trying to find out. Somebody just said he was a veteran and is homeless. I wanted to see where he might live. So, wow, other people are thanking you too. That's amazing. So I'm going to go on to the next story. And YouTube, well, thank you. And you know, guys, I'm learning this live streaming thing, so we're gonna get better. We're gonna get better. You're in Fargo, North Dakota. I just met somebody from Fargo the other day. let me think about. So anyways, the next story, and there's a link below, and this is from Steve Lopez, the LA Times, really famous writer. He, you know, if you saw The Soloist, but this I think is a very important story in the LA Times about Los Angeles homelessness. The title is LA Homeless Crisis Grows Despite Political Promises, Many Speeches, and Millions of Dollars. How do we fix this? How do we fix this? So this time I'm going to remember to go back to the chat so that you can see my ugly face. I'm so sorry I left that full screen thing out. So if you read Steve's story, and I hope you do, the link's down in the description, it really, I feel, paints a picture that hopefully will put a sense of urgency into people. As I'm talking about Los Angeles, it is also Fargo, North Dakota, or Cincinnati, or Seattle, or whatever city. You know, the homeless crisis is crazy everywhere. It's just really, really bad, magnified in Los Angeles. And one of the reasons that Los Angeles has such a bad homeless crisis, and many people believe it's weather, it's not. So the city and the county in Los Angeles, oh, I got got this thing here, oh gosh, this thing. So the city and the county in Los Angeles are separate. You know, like San Francisco and San Francisco County and San Francisco as a city are the same. But Los Angeles and Los Angeles County, you have a mayor, and then you have 5 kings. And they used to fight over homelessness so bad, the city actually sued the county, or the county sued the city. Anyways, they ended up suing each other over the billions of dollars that come in from the federal government on who's going to control it. So bureaucracy kills. And these people, or not these people, the county and the city, fought over that money. And who you know, who got the short end of the deal, or who did it hurt? Homeless people. Homeless people. And that's why homelessness is skyrocketed in Los Angeles, is the bureaucracy. The bureaucracy kills. So it's gotten better. And what this article with Steve, and again the link down below, documents is, you know, 13 years ago, they made decisions. Then you didn't know that the economic crisis was going to happen in 08. And, you know, the decisions really weren't the best decisions. And the money being spent wasn't spent wisely. And then we have today, Los Angeles has, I think the last count was 50,000 homeless people. And the count is at best a good guess. It's probably 80, 90,000. And it has increased 23%. Homelessness in a city with 50,000 people has increased. So they have all this money, and they have all, you know, working better together, but it's, so I'm just going to be real. I'm having an issue with homeless services, and a lot of it has to do with, I'm now advocating for some homeless people in the group, and I can't find them help, and the system is broken. Oh my gosh, I think everybody that has anything to do with homeless services should at least try to help a homeless person, because you just hit this wall over and over again. It's nearly impossible to get a homeless person from the streets into housing. It shouldn't be that hard, but it is. It's nearly impossible. So one of the things Steve talks about in this article that I thought was so great was he was saying that one of the former mayors, they used to drive around and they used to look at potholes. Well, he suggested that the current, politicians drive around and look at all the tent camps and on a regular basis, and really, they're saying that ending homelessness is a priority, but homelessness is getting worse. It really, really is. So let me ask you guys, are you seeing a reduction in homelessness where you live, or are you seeing homelessness increase? Yeah, Harry, I remember you last time. You almost got me saying your full name there. Sunshine Girl, I forgot where you are, where you live. I remember you've been here before, but I forgot where you live. Karnar, where are you not seeing an increase? When you're saying an increase, please list your city or even a district. Deborah is talking about Houston. What I think is interesting is Houston is praised by the homeless service community as being a model that other communities should look at. And you know what? Homelessness is the worst city for criminalization. The laws in Houston for a homeless person are ridiculous. Hey, Wanda, in North Florida. I'm going to be in Gainesville, Florida. By the way, if any of you close to Gainesville, I'm going to be close to Gainesville. Increase in Knox. How do I find out about homeless in my area? So BSAT 65 just asked a really important question. Every city or every community has what's called a continuum of care. So that is a place to first start. Type into Google city that you're in and then continuum of care, and a website should come up, and that would be a great place to start about finding homeless services in your city. Yes, Craig is from Columbus, Ohio. I agree. I used to live in Columbus, by the way. YouTube reality show. I was just in Toronto. Oh my gosh, is it scary? Yeah, I'm going into Brittany. Hi. So there's several people in this chat that are from our homeless support group that are homeless. Addie, who's the moderator, was homeless. You're going away, buddy. I don't know. Exterminate homeless people is... hey, Brittany. Yeah, they Captain April, they were working a little hard to get banned. What was interesting is the name, their YouTube header name. I'm sorry. Like I said, Sundays. My mom's older. She had a stroke. It's why I live upstate New York, to help take care of my mom. And it's wonderful that I get to spend time with her, but it's also very tiring. You know what, Raphael? I don't. You make a good point that it's tourist states, and that's where it's warm and sunny is where people want to live. Okay, guys, I got one more story. Do you? Should I go into the story, or do you guys just want to chat? Yeah, Raymond, veterans are often a fast track, and that's because Obama, was mandated it. Vicky here, I think Vicky online, I tend to think that people who find humor in the plight of homeless people are relatively sheltered in their lives. The exception that one's lifestyle will never be drastically altered is odd. So it's an interesting statement, and there's in written communication, a lot of things could be misunderstood. I personally think that, I think what you're saying is people that put down homeless people and find humor. I think it's okay to laugh. Sometimes, there's websites about funny homeless signs. As I'm out on the streets, I'll meet a person that has a funny homeless sign, and we connect, we laugh. I think laughter is good, but I think what you're saying is people that put down homeless people, and I have to agree. But that's also my last job. The boss and other executives would put people down. It was really disturbing at times, and I don't know, for whatever reason, I think people put other people down because it makes them feel better, but that's just a horrible way to be. So Joshua says the funniest homeless sign he's ever seen was "Spaceship broken, need parts." For me, and I didn't see it in person, it's on the internet. A kid's at an exit ramp with a sign, and he has a bucket, and it says, "Bet you can't hit me with a quarter." Hey, Debbie. This is Debbie, my Debbie from Saskatoon. I don't know if you were here early, but we started off this in Saskatoon. So housing vouchers have probably a lot of different meaning depending on the agency of who's funding them. For instance, somebody earlier talked about veterans, so I'll start there. Veterans are normally called a VASH voucher. I don't know what the acronym is, but typically a voucher means that the housing is going to be subsidized. Often a voucher will pay for 2/3 or the person has to pay 1/3 of their income. So the voucher covers the rest. So let's say I get $300 from Social Security. Now the rent's $1,000. The voucher will pay $900, and you keep $200. You have to pay $100 of it. Hopefully that makes sense. But voucher, simply put, is that some agency or the government, kind of like a Section 8. I don't know if you have Section 8 in Canada, but a government agency is subsidizing, and it can be all of it or a part of the housing. And it varies depending on the agency or the type of voucher. Oh, so you want to know what approach I use. So it's interesting, and I probably should do a video of this. If you look at my YouTube channel, and there's a video called "How to Give Socks to Homeless People," it really says the same thing. So the first approach is safety first. Is, you know, walking down the streets, and I'm going to say something here that, you know, I don't necessarily practice it myself because I'm normally out on the, don't go out by yourself, which I'm usually out on the streets by myself. So, but when you go out on the streets, safety first, then is just respect people. I walk up and I always like to have something transactional I can give. Normally socks. Sometimes it's hand warmers. Sometimes it's gloves. Sometimes it's, you know, but it's normally socks. And then I just respect people. A lot of people don't want to be on camera, and I just respect that too. And for the people that do, so mental health issues are definitely a serious concern. What's really interesting to me, and you see a lot of mental health challenges in Canada, even though they have better health care. But in the where it's really dramatic is in London or the UK, that has great health care, is you don't see the mental health on the streets because the health care kicks in. Either it kicks in before they end up on the streets, or when they end on the streets, it helps them get out of homelessness. Yeah, Debbie, it's the same thing here. There are vouchers that pay for 100%. It depends on the situation and the program. The 35%, and here a lot of them are 30%, depend on our government. I think you guys call it, oh gosh, and I should know this because I was just in Toronto. Here it's all, you know, Social Security, Disability, SSDI or SSI. They have to be on that so for the 30%. And I've always thought of that as building the house on cards, because our government is always talking about SSI and SSDI going away. So if that goes away, all the people in housing are going to end up back on the streets. Hey, Joshua. Glad you're clean and sober now. So Vicky is talking about, must be you have Buddhist monks in your area. So this is something I've learned over the years, and I call it choice. You know, homelessness is absence of choice. So there's people that live in an RV or live in a van. Van life is really big. Or camping. It's a nomadic lifestyle. They're not really homeless. Any time that they want, they can snap their fingers and go. You know, they have a savings account someplace, and they can you know, get out of that living situation and into an apartment. A homeless person doesn't have that choice. And that's the big difference between a nomadic lifestyle, or you're talking about Buddhism, which is a religious choice, than it is homelessness. Hopefully that helps explain. Oh, Eddie asks if there's a credit option for people that don't have a job. Not that I know. So guys, we're coming up in about an hour. So any last words? I'm not going to get into the last piece. Wow, there's 100 of you. There's 100 people watching right now. That's mind-blowing to me. Thank you. Hi, everybody. Yeah, Vicky, how it happened, I think it's an interesting story. I was in Yellowknife, Canada, which is way up there, and there was an Aboriginal or Indigenous homeless man, really hard as nails, you know, like my grandfather, somebody that you'd never think would cry, never show emotion. And he told me he cried twice that winter because the weather got below 60. And I thought about it. Nobody in their right mind lives outside when the weather gets below 60 unless you're a scientist at the South Pole getting paid a gazillion dollars for freezing your gazillions off. And that really really opened my mind to how homelessness is absence of choice. I'd love to visit British Columbia now, or soon. Lisa, yes, and it's invisible people, facebook.com/invisible people TV. Not just the invisible people, somebody already has that, but invisible people TV. So, and again, I want to thank you guys. I don't know if you saw, but we are now at 77,000 subs. Pretty soon, we're going to hit 100,000 subs. And why that's so amazing is we were only at 20,000 subs in June. And it's all you guys that have just been sharing this channel and really engaging with the content and talking about homelessness. So thank you. I love you all. Thank you for being so awesome and helping this channel grow. I don't know what you mean. Emmanuel wanted to help some through this chat. Not necessarily don't know what you mean. Top Hat, you're amazing too. Mr. Top Hat, have you joined our support group, by the way? You should. So Captain April, I get that because this channel, I've been doing this since 2008. Bye, Lisa. Thank you and good night. Hi, Springfield. You know, they do, Debbie. You're talking about a cold weather strategy. One of my favorites, and you might want to look into, is Philadelphia. What I love about Philadelphia is their cold weather and strategy includes integration of peers. So what they do is their outreach team goes out on the streets with other homeless people, because it's easier for a homeless person to talk somebody into getting inside where it's warm than it is a staff member talking to them. So I love how they integrate peers into their strategy. Thank you, Harry. So Ed just asked about Finland and Norway, and I think it's funny because there is a video on this channel from a guy from Norway. And what's interesting also is he's wearing a Make America Great Again. And sadly, I don't speak Norwegian. And he is actually Swedish, and I don't speak Swedish. But all the people that work in homeless services in Norway told me I won't see any street people unless they're severely mentally ill or drug addiction. And I was out walking with one of them. We went out to dinner, and sure enough, there was somebody on the streets who wasn't drug addicted. So the European cities have a much better social structure, a safety net, but there's still homelessness everywhere. Hey, Santa Cruz. Yeah, Jeremiah, it's a major problem in the Bay Area. It is a major problem everywhere. Hey, Chloe, you know, sometimes homeless people, they give them bus tickets. I know of some homeless people that have been sent by airlines to other places or by airfare, but I've never heard people being shipped off to FEMA camps. You know what? I take that back. I do. Oh gosh, it was a long time. I do. It was oh my gosh, she's in Washington, D.C. She's wearing a hat, and she talked about it. And then I did some research, and sure enough, they did take them but it must be very rare because that's the only occasion I've heard about it. A lot, yeah. Jesse, I will look into it. Yeah, that's a Captain April. That's a really big. You know, on that one, Addie, I would have addressed it. So Mike just said, stop exploiting homeless for your personal gain. So this channel makes $49 a month on all the interview video. It's so funny. People, one of the first complaints is, you know, you need to share your ad money. There's no ads. You don't see it on the vlogs. And as I grow this live streaming, I might put ads only at the beginning. I don't put any ads anywhere else. And the total is $49. I am currently unemployed, and don't bring them back. I mean, it's fine, but other people think that. So those are the comments that I address. But every waking moment I spend doing the best I can helping other people. You know, I really do. And the point of Invisible People as a channel is to educate. I mean, let's use Addie, for example. Amplify her voice as a homeless person who had a job. And people, you know, just think homeless people need, you know, that they blame homelessness on the person. All they need is to get a job. Well, you know, Addie had a job. It wasn't. But anyways, the point of this channel is to educate the masses about homelessness. Nobody's being exploited. I make every homeless person the promise that if they ever want their video removed, I'll remove it. It's not edited. It's raw. Whatever they say, if they pick their nose, it's in there. You don't get more integrity than that. And again, nobody's being exploited. There's no money being made off them. Yes, I'm a nonprofit. There's people give money on Patreon. People give money on the website because they want to support this work. It's important work. Our inability to relate to homelessness is our biggest obstacle in ending it. And Invisible People is the only education-based nonprofit working to end homelessness. We're it. And there needs to be more. Yes, a lot of people. Anyways, guys, I am really tired tonight. If you can't tell, I've been ranting a lot. So we've been on for an hour, and like I'm going to say always, please, if you have suggestions. From what I'm gathering tonight, I look up these articles and I kind of rant a little bit about them, but you guys seem to just want to talk. And if that's the format you want, we'll do that. And if there's guests or different things, I'll bring them back. But it seems you guys just want to talk about homelessness, which is great. So anyways, I am going to say good night and see you next week. And we're going to like I said, we're right now it's Sunday nights. I'll make an announcement. And again, thank you for joining me on the stream tonight. You are awesome. Thank you for sharing this channel with everybody and videos, and have a great